Hey everyone, this is the first episode of Let's Talk with Whitney. I am so excited. So, we're going to give everybody a little time to come in. I have a beautiful co host this evening, Miss Jimmeal Nicole, that I'm so excited about. She has played a wonderful part in my life, a part of a shift that God has done in my life. And I want to share a little bit with you. One thing that we all have gone through since 2020 is COVID, the season of COVID. COVID-19 came in and it hit us all by storm. So we all have been dealing with illness, fear. We have dealt with so many different things. Over the past couple years, I've had some. First of all, let me say I've had some childhood traumas, as well as the trauma of illnesses that has plagued our life, as well as just regular life coming on and doing what it do. And so I have this beautiful guest because I had to make the decision to get help. And one of the things that I have dealt with too was 7 years ago, I had the vision of I'm sorry, y'all, excuse me. I had the vision of oh God, I'm so nervous, y'all, excuse me. But I had this vision of a healthier me. And that meant being healthy in mind, body, and spirit. So I kept saying, God, what does that mean to be healthy mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, but also physically? I turned around and I started working out. But when you're plagued with things in your mind that don't line up with his word and, traumas and all of that different stuff, it's hard to align spiritually. So, and mentally. So for me, it starts in the mind first. I've had some breakdowns in life where I had to say to myself, Whitney, I think now's the time that you need some help. And I hit a brick wall after losing the matriarch in our family. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I am a friend, I'm all of those different things. But when you serve in so many different positions and you don't have uh, a healthy mentality yourself and you're trying to take care of everybody else and you're not taking care of you, you have to make a decision. You're at a crossroads. Do I continue to move in that direction, or do I step back and say I'm not okay? A lot of people in our community, people of color, have been taught to just weather the storm, continue to tough through things. But what happens when you can't? What happens when everything around you says that I need help? And when people turn to you and they look at you and they say, hey, come on, you got this. You could keep doing it. And you can't keep doing it. What do you do in that moment? So that's why people like this beautiful woman that is on here with us, my co-host and special guest, Miss Jimmeal Nicole, is present today because she came in my life when I just couldn't move anymore. When I didn't have understanding of why God did what he did, why I was carrying what I was carrying, why he allowed me to see some of the things he allowed me to see. But he said, I allowed you to see it. I allowed you to endure it. I allowed you to be it because I need for you to be what I need for you to be. And Miss Jimmeal Nicole is a licensed clinical social worker that is not only just a licensed clinical social worker, she is a wife, she is a mother, she is a radio personality, a mental wellness advocate, a therapist, and an author of Affirming I Am.
Yeah.
This book, I had myself, guys, I invested into 3 copies of Affirming I Am. Come on, get your own. I enjoyed this book because not only was it a crossword puzzle, but it was also a journal. So I really took the time out to um, to indulge in each word, what that meant to say that I am fabulous, I am creative, I am enough, I am different, and to feel okay with all of those things and to look myself in the mirror and say, okay, go Whitney, you got this. She created something that was not only because everybody don't like to read, but love to read. Don't like to read, love to read. But she created something that we could be involved in, that tapped into a different space. And I want to thank you for that, using your gift for that. But I also want people to hear your voice. Could you say hello to the people tonight, Miss Jimmeal Nicole?
I sure can say hello. Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be here. I don't take what God has given me. I don't take it lightly. And so I'm just blessed to see what Miss Whitney has been talking about doing, seeing it happen. I am a witness to things happening in her life, things unfolding, and this is just a beautiful, beautiful view. I'm just loving this. So thank you so much for having me.
And I thank you for being here. Again, let me talk a little bit about when Miss Jimmeal Nicole came into my life. I lost my mother-in-law. I lost my mother-in-law to cancer June 28th, 2021. That was one of the hardest things that our family had to endure because she was our matriarch. She was the glue to our family. But going through traumas in childhood, and I'm going to speak with the analogy of filling a cup. You could go through so many things in life. I've dealt with so much in childhood, and you just keep going. So God came in and He showed me a different perspective through my in-laws. Showed me a different perspective through my in-laws. I really understood what unconditional love was through them. So when we lost her, that was really, 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 really heavy. It was an expected but unexpected thing. Meaning she was really ill. So I understood why she left. We just didn't know the date, time, or hour. None of us know that. So to have that happen, I tried to stuff down my feelings and care for everybody around me. And my husband, my children, not only that, I had three people that passed away in a month span. I had an aunt, I had my mother-in-law, and I also had my sister-in-law, whatever. In a 1 month span, they all left, and I saw all three of them with life and without life. So it was just a lot. So looking at all of that and wanting to care and be there for everybody, I wasn't taking care of me. The one thing I wanted to do was shelter my kids from the pain. I wanted to hold my husband through the pain, but I also had my own, and it was like, okay, push yours to the back and deal with everybody else's. Excuse me, everybody. Push yours to the back and deal with everybody else's. Um, And what wind up happening was I ran into this brick wall because I couldn't do it anymore. I was crying uncontrollably. I tried to continue just to move, 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 move. So um, I found myself just keeping busy. So staying busy without a real purpose, just to not deal with what I had going on. So I had one child that was graduating. She was a part of the band. She was doing so much. So I jumped in. Let me just go ahead and do this. Let me do school. Let me go ahead and be the parent. Let me go ahead and be the wife. Let me do such. It was finding stuff to constantly do without taking care of me. And in that process, again, I hit this brick wall. It was, okay, Whitney, you can't keep moving like this.
Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine that I would talk to constantly, and you'll meet them on a later episode. You'll meet maybe the next episode. Just stay tuned. So I had a friend that I would talk to constantly, and that person was like, first of all, you need to rededicate your life to Christ. You need to
Come
come back
on.
because you need shelter. You need a covering. Um, I had stopped going to church, so it was like, okay, I do need that. Let me do that. But then it was, you need therapy because you've gone through so much as a child. And when I walked into the office of this beautiful woman right here on this this beautiful woman on as my co-host tonight, my guest, I thought I got childhood trauma and I got right now drama. I need some help. I need some
That is
help, and
exactly
I need
what you
somebody
said.
to see me through this thing because I can't. I'm dealing with grief, and I'm angry. I'm so angry, and there are several stages of grief that you go through. Which Miss Jimmeal
Yeah.
Nicole, please tell them what the stages of grief is.
Yes. So you have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And a lot of times when a person is grieving and they have familiarized themselves with those five stages, if they don't know any better, they would think that those stages happen in that order. But the truth of the matter is, you go in between stages. One moment you may feel like, you know what, I'm coming out of this. I'm coming through this, and then you go right back to,
Mhm,
no, I don't think this has happened. And grief is it's not just with death. It is the loss of something significant.
mhm,
So people who have lost their job, people who have lost their, authority, how they saw themselves, rather,
mhm,
just losing who you are, that can bring on the signs and symptoms of grief. But definitely, we know in our society, we know that the physical absence of someone will allow us to walk the journey of grieving.
mhm,
And when we have lost this person and lost this person, as you described, you lost several people in such a short period of time. And instead of confronting what you were feeling, it was easier, or at the time it seemed easier, for you to get lost in the different roles that you played in your
mhm.
life. Yeah. But
Yes.
we, through conversations, through therapy, we were able to talk through some of those things, well, all of those things really, and just allow you a therapeutic space to
Mhm.
really name what it is you were feeling. Because
Right.
sometimes you think that it's anger that you're feeling, when it's not anger at all. It's disappointment, it's hurt, it's pain. So just, you one thing that I appreciated about you, and I hope you don't mind me telling them this part,
I want to be as
is
candid as possible.
okay. Um, One thing that I appreciated uh, with you is that you recognize that I do need to do something. And so you started with therapy, and you did not start with me.
Mhm,
But when we talked, you felt led that the connection that we had established, you felt led that, okay, I may need to make a switch. And so I want to say to people, it is important to connect with your counselor, connect with your therapist. when you don't feel like you're doing that, it is perfectly okay to make a switch. And I love that you did that, Whitney, because you could have easily said, you could have looked at, is it me? Maybe I'm not trying enough, or maybe this is what it is. But you were bold enough, you were brave enough to say, let me try and go with you. And we did it in decency and in order, as the church folk would say. But we did it in decency and in order. But even in how we did it, it was well received, because professionally we understand that it's not about us. We
Mm-hmm.
want what the client needs. We want to ensure that they can get it, either
Right.
through our voice, through our hands, or if it's, linking them to resources that is going to help them. So I still give kudos to you for doing that, for taking the step first to get into therapy, and then you connecting with me, because of, whatever was said in the moment, whatever you felt in the moment, and then together we were able to finish the journey, that was started. And I don't even want to say finish it, but we were able to go, go a
Mm-hmm.
distance, go further, go far enough where you felt like, with these tools, I think I can take it from here. But where you can go if you feel like,
I know
okay,
where my resource
I need
is.
to re up. I need to re up. Yes.
Right. So I said something earlier about a friend of mine told me that you need covering. How important is it to have covering for your mental space? Having someone there to hold you accountable spiritually.
Listen, I don't I don't think anybody should be gung ho to have everybody in their circle
Hmm.
being the yes girl or
Hmm.
yes man. Like, what is that doing for us?
Hmm.
So being able to have people in your circle that genuinely love you and want to see you grow.
Hmm.
You should not want to, be in the same spot that you was in 10 years ago.
Hmm.
You should not want to be in that situation. If
Hmm.
you are, there's a very high risk of you not being content,
Hmm.
um, and making others dissatisfied.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so having the right people in your circle is so important. But let me speak spiritually, you know, for those that are believers, it is also good to be spiritually connected with leadership that is going to hold you accountable, not just for you to, take care of your physical body, but take care of your spiritual self. And everybody cannot minister to us in a way that we will understand or receive. And so we should not take that lightly.
Right.
I know a couple of people, have said to me like, I'm very cautious and very careful about, who prays for me. Very cautious about, who lay their hands on me.
Hmm.
And you should be, you should be mindful of that. Um, but I don't want to just say, do that in that setting. You need to do that in every aspect of your life. So that's why I go back to, even in your friendships, be mindful of not so much who laying their hands on you, but who has access to you.
Hmm.
Who are you allowing access to you? So one of the things that we talked about in session, and let me just say, to the people, One thing that I am big on is confidentiality.
Yes.
So, of course, I had Whitney's permission on what to share and what not to share.
And
So
do
let me
have my
just say
permission. Let me say that out of my mouth that Miss Jimmeal
that.
Nicole, this licensed clinical social worker, has my permission to talk about stuff concerning my interaction with her and my and some of my experiences, because I want to be candid. I know I'm not the only one that's going through what I'm going through. I know I'm not the only one who have had loss, and I don't want to be the only one to sit back and, well, I know I wouldn't be the only one to sit back and not say it if I didn't. So I'm giving her permission to share some of what I went through with you. So you can go ahead, Miss Jimmeal.
Yes, ma'am. But I'm gonna tell you, being who I am, I'm still guarding your information.
Yes, ma'am.
That's just who I am. But one thing that, again, I appreciated that you recognized, you needed to do something. You felt like, for everyone else, you were doing what needed to be done, but you were being, you know, you were overlooking you.
Hmm.
And one of the things that we highlighted is that you have to set boundaries.
Yes.
You need to set boundaries.
Hmm.
Boundaries are good for you. Boundaries are good for me. And then and as mothers, as parents, I know you got quite a few people watching on YouTube, because I've gotten some messages. So I know there's some men watching. So even as parents, we set boundaries with our children. So we know that boundaries are good.
Hmm.
But where do we pause to say, I need to set boundaries for myself? And one of the things that we talked about, and I'll let you chime in, is you needed to set boundaries in your life, because being there for everyone, being able to respond to everything, is also the thing that was causing you the most stress.
Hmm.
It caused you to be stretched more than you've ever been, on top of Whitney Danielle was grieving.
Yes, 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 yes. So to piggyback off of that, I told Miss Jamil not too long ago that I've over this last past 10 years, and I won't lie, I've had several people say you need to create boundaries. My issue is I would not create boundaries. Forgive, I would forgive, but I would still allow the same access. And I've had several people, mentors, say, no, once you show me who you are, that don't mean I got to cut you off, because the cancel culture is real. Like, we cancel
We
people,
will.
get out of here,
We, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's really, really big today, cancel culture. But it's not that you have to cancel people, you just have to believe who they are, and you have to set boundaries. Well, I would hear boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. But my thing was, if I love you and I forgive you, oh, come on back. Come on back. And it would put me in a place of continuing to be hurt because there were no boundaries. Well, after all that I have been through now, I love boundaries. Baby, listen, you you could be who you are, but you gonna be that over there. That
Yes.
don't mean that I
Yes.
wish you any ill will. It's a right thing for me and it's a wrong thing for me. And I can't afford to allow somebody to come in and impede on my peace. So
Yes.
as of now, boundaries are my friend. And I'm so happy when you give that
Amen.
type of energy to people. You don't have energy for the other things. So while I'm giving energy
Exactly.
to people who deserve the energy I was giving them. I'm lacking the energy to for creativity and to build and to
Yeah.
learn and to be at peace and to be loving and to be all of that because I'm over here focusing on how to handle this person, what I need to say next, how I need to handle this
Right.
person. And it's so much energy that's misused. So once we
Woo,
actually
wow.
made
Yes.
the decision, once we made the decision, because my next question for you was, how important is it for you to be responsible for your healing? Like, how important is it for you to make the decision to heal or whatever, and how responsible are you to make that decision? Like, what do we do next? It's on us whether or not we want peace. It's on us whether or not we want to be heal and forgive and to move on. Like, that's on us. So how important is healing?
Well, let me go back to how you asked a few minutes ago. How important is it for you to, be involved in your healing? It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
What's the saying? You could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them
Can't
drink.
make them
You
drink.
could
That's
have
it.
all of the resources laid out for someone. But if you don't use them, how can you speak, negative towards it? How can you say, it will never, I'll never be the same. Um, I'm gonna always be this way, or will you be impacted by the loss of a relationship? Yes, but you can learn from it. You could learn from that experience, and that experience could help you be a better you.
Right.
So it's all about perspective. It's so many times that when a person is grieving a situation, that they are in denial about their role in it, their hand in
Mhm.
it. And so until you can really look at yourself and say, you know what, I don't know all the things that I did right,
Mhm.
just as sure as I don't know all the things that I did wrong, but I'm enough.
Mhm.
I am worth it enough to show up for me, to show up for me. Because
Mhm.
again, if you are okay with being the same person, I mean, I'm being literal. You're the same person you was 10 years ago. I don't know that you are really doing all that God has
Called you.
predestined for you to do.
Mhm.
You should want to grow.
Right.
You
Right.
should want and you should want to see growth in your life.
But Miss Jamil, a lot of people don't know how important they are to that process. So I had to say that I'm enough. I had to say, okay, Whitney, that really don't work for you. Okay, this isn't working for you. Like, this
Can you
situation,
tell
these
the
interactions,
people,
huh?
yeah, can you tell the people one of the tools that um I suggested that you used often? It was something really simple. It's something from way back. I need to look to see who penned this and how many years ago it was. But that small little prayer that you would say,
Oh yes.
you know what I'm trying to give you the hint. So
Yes,
uh-huh.
yes. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'll help you.
Uh-huh.
It's the serenity
It's the
prayer.
serenity. I was about to call it something, the serenity prayer. So I'm gonna tell you,
Mhm,
she said, take this serenity prayer and put it in a couple different places. So I printed out
mhm.
3 of them. I printed out one for that morning and I put it on my mirror. So I would say the
Mhm.
serenity prayer in the morning when I felt overwhelmed at work, and when I thought about when I had time to think about different stuff that I wasn't at peace with. I had it on my desk. So I would say the serenity prayer then, and before I would go to bed, I would say the serenity prayer. Solely
Wow.
because there are a lot of things that we don't have control over. There are things that, I mean, the things that people think that we have no control over. There are the things that people do that we have no control. I only have control of me. And through that serenity, I was able to release so many people, so many situations, and so many different things that did not fit the bill. If I got to be in relationship with people that I got to continue to explain the importance of my presence, oh baby, we just don't have to be here. God bless you, God speed. I don't wish you any harm. Yeah, I don't wish you no harm. I remember telling one person, the sad part about this is I don't think God won't bless us because we're apart. The sad part is we should be able to coexist together, but since we can't, Godspeed, God bless you, and continue to move on. I love you, but I'll love you from here. I can't do the back and forth. I won't do the back and forth with you. And I had to release that because that didn't serve me. I can't be in a relationship where I'm always fighting to let you know how much I love you and how much I care about you, but it's hurting me no, thank you. No,
Right.
thank you. So that
And
was a boundary.
and we came to that conclusion.
Mhm.
And I suggested, okay, incorporate the serenity prayer,
Mhm.
because one of the things, or one of
Excuse
the
me.
questions I found myself asking you more than once was, well, Whitney, is that something that you could control?
No.
Whitney, is that something you could control? And you would
Whitney, is
always
that
come to
your
the conclusion,
business? That's not your business.
well, I'm trying to be kind for the people,
I like
but
it. Big
yeah,
Candy, that's not your
it did
business.
it did get to that point too, where I had to say, that's not your business. That is not your concern.
Mhm.
And we did a number of things, and
Mhm.
so I again,
Another one
there
was
were there yeah,
this notebook.
journaling,
Get in that
journaling,
notebook and write out how you feeling. You
yes.
know.
And what
Mhm.
I was gonna say is one of the and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the homeworks that I had you do is, okay, you're here, there, and everywhere. So prioritize your list or your responsibility so that you could see on paper what matters to you. And you are a wife.
Mhm.
And so I'm very big on, that is your first ministry.
Mhm. Mhm.
Your children, taking
Mhm.
care of your children, you know, setting you and your husband, setting that tone, creating that temperature in your home.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
first,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
so once you got you did your ranking and realized, like, okay, so we're clear that, cousin them, auntie them, and I'm paraphrasing,
Uh-huh,
but
uh-huh.
extra those extended family members, they on there,
Yeah.
they on
Yeah.
there as family, but they not number one.
Right.
They not number two. And
Right.
so when you were able to, like, really look at that and look at what matters to you, what do you value. But what was really beautiful is that you continue to go back to, I matter.
Mhm. Mhm.
I matter.
Mhm.
And if I can, if I continue on this
Mhm.
path, the things that I listed in the order that I listed it in, it would go out of whack. I will not be able to be the loving wife,
Right.
the loving mother,
Right.
um, be sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just I got to
Mm-hmm.
do what's best for me so that I can be the best that I can be for them.
Right.
But understanding, and this is why this book is coming, y'all. You know, I be dropping little nuggets, little hints of this
Come on, tell
title.
us about it. Come on with the come on.
It, don't ignore those bees.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ignore those bees. Don't
Mm-hmm.
ignore those boundaries. Don't ignore that you need balance.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ignore this stuff.
Let me ask.
Don't ignore
Mm-hmm.
your belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, what do you believe in?
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe you need?
Mm-hmm.
Follow that.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be wrong, but you might be right.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the journey of learning and becoming.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, because I'll get on a tangent
You
with
all
that.
right with
But
me? Don't
more than
pull back. That's all
anything,
right. That's all right.
more than anything, it's the boundaries and the balance,
Mm-hmm.
because you gotta know when, okay, this is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't my argument. This isn't, my conversation
Yes.
to harp on, or to initiate, or to,
Mm-hmm.
I need to draw the line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me
Draw
ask
the
you
line.
this: what are some physical signs that you need therapy?
Well, listen. So there's something called a PHQ-9.
All right.
It is the depression screening tool. That's the PHQ-9 is one of the depression screening tools that clinicians and counselors, mental health providers use. But that looks at your mood, your behaviors in a 2 week span.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I won't give the whole, I'm not going to quiz everybody, but let's just say we are going to look at, you should look at your sleeping pattern, your eating pattern, your interest level, things that you were once interested in, you're no longer interested in that. You haven't been interested in that. You're not motivated. You're sleeping too much or too little, just having trouble sleeping. You're not eating, or you're eating too much. But those are signs and symptoms of depression. And
Mm-hmm.
although the screening tool, we're looking at you to tell us, what life has been like for you over a 2 week period. But if you have lost interest in taking care of the things that you need to take care of, you are, being lackadaisical about, your activities of daily living, the grooming, and just looking like you somebody,
Mm-hmm.
then that to me is a sign that you need to talk to someone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another other physical signs is like I said, your mood.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may say, that was one thing that when we talked, the first time we talked, you said, I'm snapping off at everybody.
I'm tired.
So you recognize, yeah, you were like, I'm tired of that. I'm tired, but I'm mad, I'm
Mm-hmm.
angry. I'm like, my mood, this isn't me. So if you know that, like, wait a minute, I done looked up and I feel like I'm tripping. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking myself, self, why did I respond that way? Talk to somebody, talk it through. And, you might not want to just jump, because you know how we do.
Mm-hmm.
I know my people on here. We gonna diagnose ourselves, okay?
That's
we
number
gonna,
one.
we gonna diagnose ourselves. Well, I don't really need to do all that. Okay, well, find someone safe to talk to. And if you got more than one person that you can trust and talk with, and they're telling you the same thing, you might want to listen to that. Because sometimes you can't see when you're
Mm-hmm.
in the thick of it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't see the smoke.
Right.
We,
So
we,
even with that being said, like I know a lot of men, they're taught not to cry, not to express feeling, not to express any type of emotion. How important is it to get with a counterpart that could help them through what they're going through? Because they think they could just, some men think that they could just weather the storm without any help. Like, what word of advice will you give to a male or a person who feels like, I can handle it, I'll just time will heal it?
so I'm going to first say, um, so I've been counseling a lot of couples, actually. I'm actually an independent um, counselor on the BetterHelp platform, and I've been counseling a lot of couples. And sometimes time does not allow us to really dig into things, especially when I've observed that there's some childhood trauma
Mm-hmm.
from that the male is dealing with, the woman is dealing with. And so when I have an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
I suggest that we do a individual session. And one of the things that I have said consistently is that
Mm-hmm.
men are emotional too.
Mm-hmm.
They're emotional too.
Mm-hmm.
um and for the women that are with the man, the woman that's with the man, she has to understand that when he is expressing himself,
Mm-hmm.
just as sure as we want him to listen to us, we want our man, hear me, hear
Yes.
me. They want to be heard too. And
Mm-hmm.
so what we think is they're being macho, them not, expressing themselves, or they're not talking. We might need to look closely to see, are they shutting down? Have they
Mm-hmm.
shut down? And
Mm-hmm.
so I would say, first of all, men, you absolutely have a voice.
Yes.
Men, you absolutely hurt, feel pain. And although the expectation is for you to, deal with it, that's the wrong narrative. So
Right.
I'll be the first to say that is the wrong narrative. That's the wrong statement. Deal with it in a healthy way.
Right. Right.
That's that you deserve to sit in front of someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, we all know that the barber shop is a cornerstone in our in
Yes.
our community, just as sure as the, sitting at the beauty salon. And so I'm going to always say, talking to someone may first look like you talking to someone that you are most comfortable with. But don't ignore that there are professionals,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
we are trained and we are skilled, we're gifted to sit and listen and hear you and acknowledge your feelings and validate who you are, and who you're striving to be. So
Yes.
yes, by all means. Am I going to first say, men men have feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
Men
Mm-hmm.
are expressive too.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand them just as sure as we want them to understand us.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as we want them to, use their words, sometimes they can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So being patient enough to say, well, honey, I need you to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I need to hear from you. I think I hear you, but I want to be sure. That
Mhm.
will give him that encouragement. That will give him that nudge that he needs. That
Mhm.
will give him that assurance that I could be vulnerable.
Mhm. Mhm. One more question.
Yes.
How if you see the signs of mental distress with a counterpart or with a child, and you don't know how to do, what is a good source or a good place to go find help for your spouse or your child?
So with children, of course, because we're adults, and so we take the lead on all of that. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
we setting up the appointment. We like,
Mhm.
no, I want you to talk to someone, and we're leading the way.
Mhm.
With adults, with men, and vice versa, men doing it for women, it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
We can provide resources, and we could suggest, we could even suggest, well, why don't you try this, or why don't you do this, or I'm willing to go with you.
Mhm.
I'm willing to be there when you make that call. I think it's very important that we get the resources. So let me say that we
Mhm.
have the resources, and then we empower them to here, make the
Mhm.
call. I'm standing
Yeah.
right here. I'm here to support you.
Right.
So FSU has a very good counseling center. Um, Everyone might be familiar with Appalachia.
Mhm.
Um, the Appalachia Center is also a good resource in the community. But I always say to people, listen, if you have insurance, start there. Do some research there, because now it used to be many years ago where your insurance did not cover counseling.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
an out of pocket expense. And now mental health, it is included in your total wellness. So
Right.
now insurance covers counseling. And
Mhm.
so even starting there, and again, if you got to start with talking with a person that you're most comfortable with. So, and I know if there's some men on here, they may chuckle because men don't like to go to the doctor, but just let's just say we got some men that do go. And if
Mhm.
you're comfortable with your PCP, talk with them, ask them questions, and they will tell you. But what I will say, and I'm gonna just be honest with you all, I am not a big fan of medication alone. I'm not a big fan of, let me just see if I could get some Wellbutrin, get me some Zoloft and call it a day. No,
Mhm.
you need to be in an environment where a therapeutic atmosphere is created for you to still be able to communicate what it is you're feeling. The
Mhm.
best part of therapy, and you can tell your audience if this was true for you, but one
Mhm.
of the best moments in therapy is when a person is validated, when their
Yes.
feelings are validated, when their feelings are acknowledged. That's male or female. When someone is sitting across from you saying, you know what, I can understand that.
Mhm.
I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
when a person can talk and there is no interruption, and there is this callback,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say for lack of a better term, where you're saying to the person, wow, I think I'm hearing you say, and you repeat exactly what they said, to
Mm-hmm.
see them be like, yes, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I've been saying, you know.
So I've had the moments now, Miss Jimmeal, and through several people, God bless their whole soul for sticking in there with me. But I'm talking
Yes.
about they had to beat me down with it. But when you do have that paradigm shift, and I concur, like I agree with you saying not just medicine, not to just medicate, because to just medicate without solving the problem or without being able to understand that, okay, I have to make a decision to do something different, you'll just be on medicine till you pass, or you're just, but to actually have that paradigm shift was so important. Was so important. And I'm gonna tell you how important in my life it was, because 10 years ago I was a stay-at-home mom with a whole lot of excuses as to why I couldn't. I was okay with being a stay-at-home mom. I was okay with not working because I got the kids. I was okay with not going to school because I just don't have time. I don't have the mental capacity. It's just too much going on. I didn't have the time to, I see a vision, but I'm not going to run after it. It's okay. I'm not going to go ahead and hold myself accountable to stopping because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I got things going on. So now you make that paradigm shift and you hold yourself accountable, and now I can work, I can go to school, I can start Let's Talk with Whitney, I can be a
Yes.
friend, I can be a wife, I could be a mother, I could be those things and still have time in the day to be Whitney, to just chill out and have a good time and just laugh. I can do those things now, but it took for me to hold myself accountable and to have this beautiful word right here. It's a beautiful one, because a lot of people don't want to do this. A lot of people don't want to have, first of all, they don't want deliverance,
Mm.
because being coddled and to have the excuse is just, it's too beautiful. It's always somebody else. But to have discipline, to have
Ooh.
discipline, you can turn a thing around when you put a demand on something and say, you know what, I'm gonna eat right today because my life depend on it. I'm gonna start this thing tomorrow because there's lives that are connected to me that depend on it. You know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna run on and do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna do the research, and I'm gonna, because my life and other people's life depend on it. You put a different type of accountability on yourself and you move different. So, yes, discipline. Come on, that's another one. Discipline was something that I lacked. And when you lack discipline, everything, your money out of order, your everything out of order. But when you discipline, you could put things, you could put a thing in front of you that's out of order, and you could line it up from 1 to 10, and you can make the decision to execute, and you'll see things coming to fruition that you did not see before. You'll manifest things that you couldn't manifest before because you lack discipline, and you lack the stability that you needed. So I don't know. I'm just super excited. I'm super
Yes.
excited about all of it, and it's
I
doing the shift.
I am so proud of you, and to see how you have blossomed, how you have, you're now able to use the tools, some tools you already had, some tools you were given, and you use them, and you're confident about them, because that's the thing. You can, no different from if you go to Lowe's and you looking at, okay, I'm gonna pick this drill up, or let me see what a jackhammer is. You got to get familiar with
Mhm.
that tool. You got to, put it in your hand. You got to power it on, use it, in order for you to get comfortable with it. You got to use it. So it wasn't good enough to have tools laying there and not, use them. But truthfully, where you was at the time, you didn't have the strength to pick them up. We had to clear up some things. We had to um, talk about setting order in your life so that you could see that, oh shoot, the tools are sitting right here. And
Right.
then you were able to pick them up. And so for me, um, I know the time is nigh, so I want to say it again because I can't say it enough how grateful I am to have, be able to work in this profession,
Mhm.
to be able to serve you in the way that I was able to do that, and to see this Whitney Danielle,
Mhm.
come full circle. And even we talked about all the ideas, all the creative ideas that God has given you. And I'm gonna say to your people, this is just one of them. And so for me to see
Yeah.
this and to be a part of it in this way, again, I say thank you. I really do appreciate it.
And I thank you. God knows it's mutual. And I thank everybody for listening tonight. I really do. Miss Jimmeal Nicole, I got one question for you. Please tell the people how they can find you and how they can get the book Affirming I Am.
Yes. So you can find me on social media. I'm gonna talk about the book. Yeah, I have my copy too. But you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Jimmeal Nicole, and my website is also Jimmeal Nicole. That's www.jimmealnicole.com, and that is also where you can go and purchase the book. Um, I want to say too, if you go to my website and you connect with me, you will get a free wellness letter. And what's included in that letter is 10 affirmations as well as a 31-day self-care challenge. So check that out. Check out the book. And for your viewers, actually, the book is on sale. But on top of the sale price, your viewers, if they put in the code self love, they will get a discount. And then one more avenue to reach me, to hear me, is on the Hallelujah morning show with Mike Cork and friends. That's Hallelujah 95.3 FM here in Tallahassee, Florida. You can hear me on there anywhere between 7:10, 7:15, doing a moment of affirmations with Jimmeal Nicole.
And with that being said, that will be our next guest, Brother
Good
Michael
transition.
Court. Brother Michael Court gonna come on. That has been a mentor, a friend, an adjutant of growth for me. And I'm so happy to have him as a part of my life. So y'all stay tuned because the second episode will be about the spiritual aspects of loving yourself to health. Why it's important to love yourself spiritually and put that mandate on yourself to have covering. So please stay tuned. Again, this adjutant of growth will help agitate you into a space of growth, just like he did me. Mr. Michael Court. Again, that's a great friend. Please tune in, listen to Miss Jimmeal Nicole on 95.3 with Mike Cork and Friends. One of my favorite segments is churching you to work,
You in,
churching
churching
you
you all the
in.
way in.
Yes. I get my Jesus on every morning because you know the people, you don't know what the people gonna give you, but he church us in. He
Yes,
church
yeah.
us in. So please stay tuned. And Jimmeal, I thank you so very much for being a part of this awakening.
Thank you. Thank you.
You all have a blessed and beautiful night, and we're gonna stay ready. All right. That's
Yes.
your time
Stay
with Let's
tuned.
Talk with Whitney Danelle. Good night, everyone.
Good night.